All right, guys. With this, we pretty much have the majority of the application finished as far as features go. So this is a big milestone because at this point, you can technically upload this project on hosting, which we will cover in one of these advanced lessons. But I just want to take some time to really congratulate you on finishing your first React project, your first big React project. Now, of course, there are definitely more optimizations we can make, which we will cover in the upcoming sections, but this is a huge milestone moment in your React learning. So, at this point, I would like to make one or two more optimizations before discussing what the upcoming lesson structure will be like. What we can do is we can make it so that we have our favicon as well as our title inside of our tab so that we match what the final project has. And in order to do this, it's quite easy with Create React App. All we have to do is go back to our application, and in our code, we'll just go to our index.html, and down here in title, you can change it to whatever you want. So I'm just going to name mine the name of the project. And then for the actual favicon, it's actually being loaded by this link, which we got generated when we initialized our Create React project. Now, the great thing about this is that it's naturally going to just figure out how to route to favicon.ico, which for us is this React icon. But we can just replace it with our own icon. And I have it provided for you as well. So once you check your resources, you'll find a new favicon.ico, and then you can just replace the existing one that you have. And once we've replaced it, if we go back to our application, if we refresh, we'll see that we have our new favicon and our actual title change. So let's commit our code. And what we can say is git add-a, git commit-m, updating Stripe integration, and updating our favicon and title. So now we can just git push this up. Okay. Now I want to take a little bit of time to explain the format of what we're going to learn in the upcoming lessons and sections. So up until this point, as I mentioned earlier, we've pretty much built a solid foundation of understanding the flows and patterns of writing React and Redux code. But the ecosystem has other things in it that are either optimizations and improvements upon the patterns we already know, or they're other quality of life improvements that we will explore. So these things include things like putting our CSS in JS, which is a concept we will cover effective immediately after we put our website up, which is going to be the next lesson. So the next lesson, we're going to actually host our website live on Heroku. But right after that will be the advanced optimizations. We'll learn things like how to tackle GraphQL and integrating GraphQL into our React application using Apollo. We're also going to cover more advanced Redux concepts, and then using those concepts, we'll be looking at a new alternative that was provided for us in the newest version of React, which is hooks. And hooks are going to be a very interesting optimization because they almost reduce the need for us to use Redux, but they are very similar. So the concepts that we've learned with Redux and the practice we've had is still going to be valuable because conceptually, they're pretty much the same things, except now it's more integrated into the React library itself. But many companies still use Redux because they've already built their applications for the last 2.5 years in Redux. But it's good to know where we can optimize using hooks, as well as what problems we can replace Redux with using the new hooks and context API. So we'll cover all of these in more advanced sections. We'll also look at more advanced things we can do with Firebase, as well as finishing the backend section of our Stripe integration. And in that section, we're actually going to tie in finishing the charge that we get after we fill out the credit card information in our Stripe button integration that we just finished. So there's a lot of things that we're going to cover in the upcoming sections, but now is just a good time for us to just pat ourselves on the back because we've done so much and the application from a feature perspective is pretty much good to go. The next upcoming things are not necessarily just theoretical, but they're mainly optimizations to build upon all the concepts that we've already learned. Now, the next immediate lesson we're going to have is hosting our app on Heroku. So let's do that.